Hi buddies, we're going to be working on the STONEPOINT Summer Breezy Top. The measurements that you will need will be this band all the way around underneath your bust. Mine is 32, and in the pattern it will tell you to subtract 2 for the stretch. So we will be making this 30 inches around, and then measure from your bust down to how long you want the top, and then you're going to subtract 1 inch for the trim as you see here. This color is this is a Jersey steel blue on the band and on the straps, and the rest of the top is a 4-weight cotton sugar and cream blue jean color. So we're going to be using 2 hooks. How this is structured is this is worked vertically along with this band here. This part will be worked horizontally, and this part is the straps will all be the jersey material also. The bottom part, not including the bottom trim right here, this entire bottom part and the jersey band are all use a 8mm hook, and the top, including the straps, uses a J or a 5.75. So my measurements, I prefer my tops a little bit longer. My measurement comes to about 25 stitches. So pause this and chain 25 again with your L hook, and that's about a medium size, but everybody's will be different. Check your gauge, and you can always add more trim if you need it longer. I'm going to pause this. Now that you've done the correct amount of chains in the 4-weight cotton, any 4-weight cotton that you choose will be fine for this project. We're going to be working in the front loops for most of the project. So we're going to start with single crocheting in the front loop of your chain. You're going to skip 1 chain and single crochet in the front loop. Hopefully you can see this. In the front loop. At this point, it doesn't matter whether you do the front loop or the back loop. So I will meet you at the bottom. Let's go over this real quick. You skip this stitch right here, and you will single crochet in the front loop or the back loop of your first one. It won't make any difference. And you will single crochet in each front loop stitch all the way down to the bottom. I have chained, I chained 25, and then I did a single crochet in the front loop of each and every single crochet or every chain from my hook, and then I'm at the very end chain. So right here is where we're going to add the 4 stitches of the band right here, and we're going to add the jersey. So it'll be like any color change that you do, but we'll go over that just as a refresher. And I always need a refresher. So this is also the Bernat Home Dec jersey in red, and I'm just using these bright colors so it's easier to see what I'm doing. I'm going to want to leave a tail if you happen to remember. If you didn't remember, don't worry about it, but you could use this to sew this up, because we are going to go make this in one piece all the way around, and then it'll be stitched on the side, so you can kind of see how it's going. It won't be any different than probably any scarf you've made, other than this band is not going to be done horizontally. This band is going to be done vertically along with this. So we're going to add this jersey in. So I'll just refer to it as the jersey material. That way we don't have to worry about colors. And so let's go over this one more time. Sorry about that. Okay, here's our last stitch in the front loop. I'm going to insert my hook, pull up a loop, and then for everyone, right before you finish your stitch, whether it's a half double crochet or anything you do, it'll be right when you finish your stitch with 2 loops on your hook, you're going to pull your color change or yarn change through, and it's referred to as CC or yarn or color change. And then we are going, now here's where we're going to start here, and this is 4 stitches. We're going to maintain 4 stitches, but that means we have to crochet 5 for our turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in this we will be crocheting, other than the first time, we will be crocheting through both loops of this. We need some structure and a little more strength through here, and we want to make this the cotton light and airy. So I'm going to turn and I'm going to crochet in 2 loops. Pick which 2 loops, it doesn't matter, it won't show. I'm going to single crochet in 2 loops, and now that you're turning, the turning chain that you skip counts as 1. This is 2. This is, sorry about that, I need to make sure you can see this, sorry. Okay, this is, the turning chain is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. But remember, we're changing again. We're changing yarn right here each and every time. So pull this tight. You're going to have yarn on one side and the other. This first part is the only part that's a little bit weird. Now, you can go over the chain that you started with if you would like, or you could twist it a little and go on this side. It doesn't make any difference. I've tried it both ways. I haven't noticed a difference. The jersey will be tighter and a little bit smaller of a gauge than the cotton also, and that's correct. That's how you want it. So before, at the last 2 loops of whatever stitch I'm doing, I'm going to change back to the cotton. So you're going to end up with the jersey on one side of your work and the cotton on the other. So it ends up being real easy. I'm going to try and make sure that everybody, I'll get a little bit closer, that everybody can see this. Okay, this is what we're starting with. Now I can go on this side if I would like of the yellow, or I can go on this side. It won't make any difference. So this is our first, as I'm finishing this single crochet, I'm going to bring my yellow back in at just the same as any color change. Pull this tight if you want. And then you need to look for your first stitch as you change. And here's your first stitch. Now, this will be the bottom. Let me put this here. This will be the bottom of the garment, and this will be the jersey band. So now I've switched, and here's your first, if you can see this right there, here's your first stitch. And every time you go away from the jersey band, it will be a half double crochet for the front part of this garment, and every time you come back up, it will be a single crochet. This will always be a single crochet in both loops. This will always be in the front loop. So I'm going to do a half double crochet, yarn over, go through the front loop only, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now I'm going to do a half double crochet all the way down in each front loop of the entire cotton bottom. And it's okay that this part looks like this. It will get smoother as you change. I will meet you down at the very last stitch, and I will pause it. Now I'm at the very end of the cotton, the 4-weight cotton, which is always going to be the bottom of this garment, and this is always going to be the band, the jersey. In this picture, they're almost the same color. When you do it together, you would see that one is a steel blue and the other is a blue jean, and you would see it. But at the very end, as I did, I'm going to half double crochet in the front loop. Don't forget to get this turning chain here when you turned in, and you're going to want to get both loops of that. You're not going to crochet in just the front loop. It'll make it too open and too stretchy on the bottom. So at the very end, we're always going to go through 2 loops. And then we're going to chain 1. Okay, so we have our beginning chain. Let this focus. We have our beginning chain. We have a single crochet, and we have a half double crochet all in the front loop. From here on, we're going to be alternating a single crochet, a row of single crochet, and a row of half double crochet. My phone is talking to me. That's odd. Turned off the... So because the next row is going to be a single crochet, we're going to just chain 1. We're going to turn. And this is going to be completely normal. We won't crochet into this stitch here. We're going to crochet into this stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the front loop only. Now, if you have to make any stitch adjustments, this number of stitches that you have in this half double crochet row is the number of stitches you need to maintain. Don't worry about it if it's 1 off from what you started with or 1 more. It doesn't matter. And you can make some adjustments, 1 stitch in the bottom of this garment, and it doesn't show. So that part's nice. So don't tear it out if you're off by 1 stitch. I'll show you what to do. So continue to single crochet in the front loop of each stitch till we get to, let's get a really good look at this, till you get to this stitch right here. You should be able to see that pretty well. This you will be maintaining 4 stitches, but you have to count the turning chain right here, and you might have to work with that one a little bit. I will meet you after you single crochet in the front loop. I will meet you at this stitch right here. Here we are, right before the jersey stitch. Now, as you can see, the jersey is on the other side, the jersey strand, and this will be on this side. So it doesn't matter, it'll just turn out. So we're going to do a color change as you normally would. It doesn't matter what stitch you're doing. When you have 2 stitches left on your hook, then you're going to bring this. No, I'm sorry, this goes in the front. It doesn't matter at this point, whatever is right to you. I'm left-handed, so it doesn't matter if you drop this in the back. If that's normal for you, then this will drop in the front. This will be the only place that you will have 1 on one side and 1 on the other. This one is a little messy looking at the beginning, but it works out just fine. So pull this a little bit tight. We're going to do our change. I'm going to pull this through. As you can see, I'm going to pull this. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good focus here and I'm having a problem. Okay, so don't lose this stitch right here. We need 4. So don't lose this first stitch, but we're going to single crochet in the jersey. We're going to single crochet in both loops for the jersey band. And single crochet, and then we need to maintain 4 stitches. Now remember, on the beginning chain we skipped a stitch, we skipped a chain, and then crocheted in the next one. Well, we need to make sure we pick up the skip chain, and it's a little bit hard, but just work your hook in there and make sure you get 2 loops, single crochet, and because we're single crocheting, we're going to chain 1 before we turn, and then we're going to single crochet in both loops of this stitch right here. This is all standard. So some things I do, I try to tell you if they're not standard, and this one is. Now here we're on our last stitch. We're going to pull through a loop, and then we're going to finish. Now see how this ended up in the back, and then this ended up in the front. We just had to make that decision one time. There'll be no more decisions from then on. Okay, so we're going to do our color change. Don't lose this stitch right here. Always, that's where you'll probably lose stitches, here or here, if you're not careful. Do not pull it out if it's just one stitch. Fix it at the bottom, it won't show. So now when we go back down, every time we go down towards the bottom of the garment, it will always be a half double crochet in the front loop. So it's really, you'll get a good rhythm going. It'll go fairly fast. This is actually the longest part of the garment, and it's a little bit simpler. There's no other sizing or changes that need to be made. And we're going to half double crochet in the front loop, because we're going in the front loop all the way down, and I will meet you at the very bottom. This is the bottom of the garment, and this is the band. We're at the bottom. You can see, as you can see, the jersey part is very stretchy. It's a smaller gauge than the cotton part. That's how we want it to work. Each 2 rows, one row of single crochet and one row of a half double crochet equals almost about 1 inch with the 8mm hook. So it'll be real easy to count. We'll be counting by inches. Here's 1, here's 2 inches. Let's look at this. See, 1, 2 inches. Super easy to count. This side's a little bit tougher, so you pick a side that's easy to count and you count that. Okay, so I'm down at the very end. I'm going to do a half double crochet. Now that first double crochet row, or half double crochet row that you did, which would be row 2, you have your chain, you have your single crochet, and row 2 is a half double crochet. That's the stitch count you want to maintain. So I'm going to half double crochet in the very end, but when we're at the end of the garment, because we want it to be more structured, we're going to go in both loops. So just don't forget to do that. This would be where you'd want to count your stitches, and if you lost a stitch, put another one in there. You can add another one if you lost a stitch. This is where I tend to lose them, not here. But count it out and see how many stitches you have. I'm not going to bother. Another way, you could put 2 in here, because you still need it to lay flat. You could put 2 in here at the very end if you want, or another way to make it lay flat and to add a stitch. Chances are you're going to be losing them, not increasing them accidentally. That's probably the most likely thing. When you turn it over, remember, everything is in the front loop except this very bottom. When you turn it over, if you need to add a stitch, you could also crochet in the front loop of this one, this stitch right here, instead of going into that one. So that'd be another way to fix your stitch count. And to have a little variation by 1 stitch in this, if you fix it, it really won't matter. You could lose a stitch for a couple of rows, and it won't, and fix it, and then you won't see it. This the drape of this is really nice. When you do a vertical method, you get to size it as you go, and it drapes down really nice. So a little bit of a change in this won't matter. It has a lot of texture to it. You're not going to see it. You can't skip any stitches in here, but you can easily add any stitches that you drop down here, and then when you put your trim on, it works out fine. And I've done it, not on purpose. I accidentally lost them, and well, I fixed them a couple rows later, never saw a thing, because I thought, well, why not? That happens to everybody. So we turn just as usual, and we check our stitch count. We add a stitch if we need to, and we single crochet. We're always single crocheting up towards the band, and we're half double crocheting down for the entire front of the garment. I will meet you at the top. Okay, let's get real close to the camera. I'm back up at the top. Now this is not the stitch, right here is the stitch. And when you don't have when your colors blend together like the teal blue and the blue jean, it's a little bit more difficult, but I'll just remind you. So don't want to lose the stitch. That's where I lost them every time. So you're going to single crochet because you're going up, so a single crochet, half double crochet down, single crochet up. So you're going to begin the first part, and remember, if this was a double crochet, you wouldn't do your color change. I'll just do it for instance. You wouldn't do your color change until you're at your last 2 loops on your hook, and that's where you do your color change. But we're just doing a single. Just wanted to let you know. Let's see. Okay, so you do the first part, you drop this in the back, drop your cotton in the back, and your jersey will be in the front, because every time you turn it over, it'll just change it for you. Your jersey's in your front, pull it through. Now, you're going to want to pull this tighter if you can. It'll tighten up. You can do it later. Okay, now, every time you carry over the jersey, you get this loop here. That's good, because you can decide whether you want that on the front or the back. You can decide which is the front or the back. It looks nice either way, and it doesn't seem to matter what color you use. I'm going to go, now don't forget this stitch right here. This is your first stitch, and you only want 4 up here. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget your turning chain. Get in both loops. 4. Remember, these are always in both loops. This is always in front loop. We chain 1, we turn, and this counts as our first stitch. So this is 1, then 2, 3, and this is 4, but we don't finish it. We drop this in back, and our cotton is in the front, and then we pull that through. And because we're going down, we begin with a half double crochet in the front loop. Okay, so here's where we're at. Our yarn isn't confusing anymore. I will use this tail to stitch up when we get around, when we stitch it up together. So as you can see, this is 1 inch, this is 2 inches. So it takes a row of single crochet and half double crochet to make an inch. So it's 2 rows per inch for this. This is a little bit smaller, but this is going to be stretched. So let's talk about colors. I know this is really pretty. I found because I've made 3 of these, I found that darker colors are better because this is a little sheer. If it's a light color, you kind of see your belly button. It's up to you on what you want to show, but if you want something a little more modest, a darker color works better. The other ones are just way too sheer. The jersey can be any color. I found that those work great no matter what. So that's a nice touch. You can't go wrong with this jersey color. You can order it online. They have it. They don't have any of it in my Joann's store, but you can order it. And I've used this for a lot of things. This feels great. This is a nice, light, airy cotton. This is a feel-good jersey that gives it a really nice texture. So, you know, stick with these. I know it's kind of weird using these 2 yarns together, but you're going to really like the outcome. And this part is super simple. Just keep your count straight or fix it at the bottom when you need to. I mean, mine probably could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just not going to mess with it. Now, I'm going to show you how we do the vertical size as you go. And there is that method here, and some of you are familiar with it and some of you are not. So I'm going to put this aside. And I ended up being very patriotic, but I wanted to use different colors to show you the sizing for this because we are going to use a different stitch in the back. This is the bottom half. This is the front bottom half. And under my bra strap, I measured 32 inches around. So I subtract 2 inches for the stretch. Now we want this to wrap around the back a little bit. We don't want this right on the side seam. So, okay, so mine was 30. My measurement was 32, so I subtract 2 inches for the stretch. So we're doing 30 inches all the way around. So we want this front we want it to wrap around at least an inch on each side. So this front would be 17 inches, and 17 inches is, each inch is two rows, so 17 inches is obviously 30, let's see, I'm sorry, 34 rows. But measure it on yourself, put it on your body, look at it that way, and that way have something that fits. Or if you're making it for someone else, as long as you have this measurement, it'll say in the instructions, as long as you have this measurement and then this measurement of how long you want it, the fit will be amazing. You'll love it. So let's look over at, let's look, let me change you over so that we can look at this on the mannequin. So double check with the mannequin. Sorry, I'm a little tangled up. This was our first measurement. Mine was 32 minus 2 for the stretch, makes it 30 inches. And this is where we're going to do our sizing. This has a longer bodice. Okay, this is where we're going to do our sizing. So you're going to keep adding your rows, and then if you're measuring it on your own body, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to pull it, and if you notice on this side seam, we want to make it about this would be the side seam of your shirt and your armpit. You're going to want to make it so it stretches about an inch or 2 rows at least past the side seam right here. So this one needs more rows, obviously, but you're going to want to go past that a little bit because the back is a little more sheer and open, and it needs to be for it to lay correctly. So you're going to want to pull it here and stretch it. It's going to need to stretch about this far. And if it doesn't, just add more rows until it does. And so it has to go past this about an inch on each side. And then when we put the top on, it's going to come from the back here and come up this way. Also, I wanted to let you know, I didn't mean for this to be patriotic. I just wanted some colors, but that works out good. I just wanted varying colors. And this, every color change is a row of single crochet and a row of double crochet, half double crochet, all in the front loop. Now, eventually, when we do the back, these two sides will be sewed up together. You'll use your tail to sew this up together, then you'll use your other tail to sew this up together eventually when you do the back. Now the back is going to be a different stitch. It's going to be 2 different stitches. They're very simple. It will look a lot like this. Now if you do color changes, you're going to see that you can do the color changes up here or you can do them down here. Because you're changing anyhow, I did them up here, and I'm just going to make this part the back so you have a back and a front. And I like this little part here. So I enjoy that. I always pick this side to be the front. You could pick whichever side you want, but I wanted to show you what happens when you do it this way. So this is the first part of the Get Started video. I will add more in a bit. Bye.